Hello, everybody, and welcome to Goal Line Gossip. Manchester United sign Mason Mount from Chelsea for a fee worth £60 million, and it's a here we go from Fabrizio Romano. So big news for Manchester United fans all over. Uh, it's the first deal of the transfer window, so pretty excited about that. How do I personally feel about Mason Mount joining Manchester United? It's bittersweet for me. Let's start with the sweet part. Uh, Mason Mount is a good player, right? And we all know that he had a pretty crap season last season, but that's like every Chelsea player. If you look into what happened with their club last season, so I do feel that there is a potential in Mason Mount. And before last season, Mason Mount was pretty good, and it just goes to show that he has a high ceiling. He's just 24. He's signed with Manchester United. He's been Eric Ten Hag's top priority, at least from what we know. We've put in multiple bids in trying to get him, and even when the transfer window was opening, he was the first bit of news, transfer news that we've heard as fans. So there was always a contact with Chelsea. It always seemed like this was the only deal, with all the other rumors floating around, whether it's with Onana, whether it's with Kim Min Jae, Declan Rice, Moises Caicedo. It felt like Mason Mount was the only realistic deal that could happen, and it has happened. So I'm glad about that. The other positive would be that I feel it's good to see that. Well, we did end up paying 60 million. He's probably worth 50, but I don't think that there was any chance that we could get him for 50, uh, because he's a Chelsea player, and you're selling to a rival club. So from that point of view, I think there is a fee, and also we are Manchester United, right? I think we are not the best when it comes to negotiating transfer fee, and we tend to overpay anyways. So with the same recruitment team, with the same CEO, director of football, you kind of expect to see the same kind of behavior. I think we have overpaid, but not like Harry Maguire or Anthony. I think this is a good player. So I'm not too bothered about the 60 million. It's decent. He only had 1 year left, but I think it's fine. Um, but the positive is, from my point of view, is that Eric Ten Hag did want Mason Mount, and the club has delivered. So from that point of view, I feel that it's good news. It's something that is refreshing to see as a fan, that when you're part of an organization, and organization like a football club, and the manager demands certain players in the transfer window, you want uh, the club to deliver those deals, right? We've seen that with Arsenal, right? uh, Arteta wanted Havertz, they got Havertz. Arteta wanted Declan Rice, they're getting Declan Rice. So that needs to happen for a club to function properly. You need to get players that the manager needs before the season starts, so that they can fit in that player in the right order in the squad, and play in a style that he prefers, that he thinks will work for the whole season, right? So from that point of view, I think it's a positive that they have delivered Mason Mount, who Eric Ten Hag really wanted. Um, in terms of the bitter part, I think I'm not really happy about the prioritization of this deal. When I say prioritization, I specifically mean the players that we did not approach for Mason Mount. So, say for example, Kim Min Jae, right? So a news broke out maybe yesterday or today that he's definitely going to Bayern Munich for 45 million. Now, this is a player that we did have a conversation with earlier in the transfer window. And for a week or two, it sort of felt like we will get him. We just have to wait till July, because that's when his transfer clause kicks in. And, once, that 45 million transfer clause is active, we'll go there and get him. But it sort of fell through. Bayern Munich swooped in. They had a conversation with him. They negotiated the salary and all the bonuses and stuff like that, and just sealed the deal. Whereas we were busy with Mason Mount. So from that point of view, I'm not really happy, because I mean, do you really think if you had a choice to sign either Mount or Kim Min-jae in our current Manchester United squad, you'll go for Mason Mount? Because we're not like really sure where he's going to play. I know that he's going to be an Eriksen replacement, but is that more important than getting someone like Kim Min-jae, who's probably one of the best upcoming like defenders right now? From that point of view, is it important for us to get a number 8 in Mason Mount? I don't really know, and I don't agree. So that's there. And also, like, we need a CDM, right? So if Mount is not that great defensively, and the only defensive midfielder that we have that has performed well in the recent time is Casemiro, right? Casemiro has a tendency to get suspended, which means he needs backup. And this is also a player who's not like fairly young. He's probably in the twilight of his career. So from that point of view, he can be susceptible to injuries. So, and we don't have a backup. I mean, the backup for him is probably Scott McTominay, who I think after the Mount deal is not going to leave the club. We're probably going to retain him. And also, like, the fact that we did not go for Kim Min-jae makes me think that Harry Maguire will stay in the club for another season. Not sure why, but doesn't feel great as a fan, because he should have been one of those players who would have given us a good transfer fee, and which we could have invested in the transfer market and gotten more players and a better value and things like that, right? So he's not leaving. Scott McTominay is not leaving. The player that I think will leave with the Mount deal in place right now is Fred. There's been links to Fulham interested in him, and I think the Mount deal just seals it. He's probably going to leave. He was 30. He's on the final year of his contract. I don't think it's going to get renewed anyways, because let's face it, Manchester United is already busy with the Marcus Rashford deal renewal. The De Gea one is also like something that is being dealt with. So I don't think the Fred deal is a priority. And from that point of view, it's clearly evident that they might want to probably sell Fred to Fulham for 20 million or something like that. So, well, the good news about the Mason Mount deal is that it has happened now, which means he'll be available for the preseason. And I think that's a huge positive for Manchester United, because even in the previous season, we only had Malacia as the only new player who was a part of the preseason squad. So it'll be very interesting to see Mason Mount wear the red jersey and play for Manchester United. So for every Manchester United fan, it'll be interesting to see how he fits into the squad and what is going to be his role. He's obviously going to play as a number 8 going forward, but what is his role going to be with Bruno in the team? Is he going to be playing up front, whereas Bruno will have the liberty to fall back, or is he going to be playing right behind a striker? Is that how he fits into the squad? It'll be very interesting to see, because Mason Mount, regardless of what you think about him as a player, he's one of those players that comes with a lot of capabilities. He's versatile. He can play on the wing. He's a decent ball carrier. He's not great with the headers, but he's got a good shot on him, and it'll be interesting to see how he fits into the team and what he has to offer for Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. To wrap up, I would say it's the first deal of the transfer window for Manchester United, and from that point of view, I think I'm really happy that we've started signing players. Hopefully we'll sign a couple more, or maybe 3 in the coming few weeks. I know the Onana deal is moving forward, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And really excited to see him wear the red jersey and play for Manchester United in the preseason.
Thank you for watching that video. We are a community of passionate football fans, and we post weekly videos on transfer news, match reactions, tactical analysis, and sometimes just gossip on the most exciting sport in the world. If that's what you like to hear, then hit that subscribe button and join the conversation with us.